With the Earth's population increasing rapidly, enormous quantities of foods will be required in a few decades. However, with decreasing amounts of land, water and most food sources, drastic measures must be undertaken to solve the global food crisis that awaits us. The most anticipated solution is the future involvement of biotechnology in agriculture. As said by Peter Carberry, from Xyro, in the next 40 years, we have to produce the same amount of food as the world has produced in the last 500 years. Some possibilities include cultured meat as opposed to livestock, vertical crops to reduce land requirements, and also the use of genetically modified organisms to increase growth of crops and make them more resource effective, and resistant to diseases and insects. However, many of these ideas are presently too expensive to consider and will need significant adjustment before they can become a reality. Now over to Carrie and Brian, to discuss both the pros and cons of biotechnology having a role in the future of food.
Hi there. To start off with the pros, a commonly discussed reason to genetically alter foods is to make them more healthy and nutritious. Whilst this reason may seem insignificant, when in comparison to the presumed global food crisis, recent increases in obesity make the altering of foods to make them healthier much more relevant. An example of this is the perspective of creating healthier oils by removing their trans fats to reduce the risk of heart diseases and other obesity-related sicknesses in humans. Another example is of the recent algae gene implantation into soybeans to increase the amount of omega-3 in them. Brian?
Well, while that's all very nice, one of the downsides of utilizing biotechnology in the future of food is that genetically modified organisms have unknown effects on humans. The consumption of chemically altered foods may have detrimental effects on humans and could trigger allergic or toxic reactions. Also, the use of genetically modified organisms brings the uncertainty of the safety of the environment. It is unknown whether or not the chemicals used will harm surrounding animals and insects and their habitats. If the chemicals used are harmful, the food sources of multiple species could potentially be destroyed.
Yes, but introducing biotechnology in agriculture would reduce poverty in numerous ways. By using genetically modified organisms, rural incomes would be increased and food production in areas that lack resources would be able to be sustained. In countries such as Vietnam and India, farmers' crops are often their main source of income. Therefore, if they become diseased, which can occur often, the life of the farmer and his or her family is affected significantly. However, the use of biopesticides would solve the problems of thousands of farmers by leaving them with both extremely resistant and yielding crops. With a reduction of diseased crops brings lower prices to food items and more availability of food in areas where it is most needed. The introduction of biopesticides alone would reduce malnutrition due to the assumed lower prices.
I believe that Simon wanted to have a quick word about biotechnology having a positive impact on the planet. Simon?
Thank you, Brian. Obviously, one of the major goals for the future production of food is to make it more environmentally friendly. Greenhouse gases can be minimized if cultured meat becomes a possibility, and the reduction of land usage can be achieved either by scientific or architectural methods. Similarly, biotechnology would allow ways of altering crops that require large amounts of water, such as rice crops, to use water much more efficiently. As 70% of the Earth's water is currently used for agricultural purposes, genetic modification would be undeniably useful for the future conservation of water.
That's all for tonight. Thank you very much for watching the news.